Carter.
Hey, we're live. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Welcome to our live show for A Court of Frost and Starlight. Beautiful, yeah. Oh my god, I'm hearing my own voice, and that's because I have it open in another tab. Okay, so welcome. This month we were talking about this little novella that's in between the end of A Court of Wings and Ruin and the next book, A Court of Silver Flames. And this book, when it came out, and still to this day, lots of discourse, very highly contested in the Sarah J. Maas community. So I'm interested to see how our discussion is going to go today. So why doesn't everyone else introduce themselves first?
Oh, Soleil's here. Hi, Soleil. I'm Madison from Princess of Paperbag. I'm Katie's co-host and will be the host for the next live show that we do.
Is it my turn?
Yeah. That's really all
I'm
doing.
Stephanie, and I'm from Shut Up and Read, and I'm in LA.
Hi, I'm Zoe from Zoe's All Booked, and my brain is totally mush. I just read so much in the last 27 hours that I can't focus.
You literally reread the whole series.
Yeah, I read the trilogy and half of the novella in 27 hours.
I'm bowing down to you. That's so amazing.
I don't even know what to think.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's the first day in 2 weeks. I haven't had a crippling headache, so I made the best of it. So
You definitely did.
That wonderful bit.
Yeah. Okay, so I don't know if we can really do spoiler-free thoughts since we're so deep into the series at this point. We might as well just start with our general thoughts and just in general, if your views on the book have changed over time, any opinions on the discourse, let's just dive right into it because
Carter,
I'm ready to go.
I'm broke. I was going to say, so my opinion of the book has stayed the same since I read the first time, and that's the fact that, yes, it's 4 out of 5 stars for me. The first 2 chapters, I don't get why they're so recappy. They're really, really recappy. And I know that normally books are, but novellas don't tend to have recaps in them, and so it was kind of odd. And then obviously, the first 2 chapters are just they're just extra horny compared to anything else.
Yeah.
That's fine. But it just it was so surface level horniness. So I was just
Well, for me, it was my first time reading it, so I didn't have any prior knowledge of what this book was like and what I was expecting. But I would say that my view on the characters have changed after reading the novella.
Ooh.
So I was I don't know, I felt like I had more respect for certain characters in the trilogy, and then when I read the novella, I was I don't know so much about certain characters anymore.
Ooh.
So that was
we'll get into that after the general.
This is my second time reading it, or maybe third, and it's been 5 out of 5 stars for me every time. It feels like fan fiction to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's the highest compliment I can give anything ever, because fan fiction got me through 3 degrees. So anything that reads like fan fiction, it's just the thought of taking the characters and giving them a little slice of normal life, as normal as they can have after everything they've been through.
Mm.
But I'm so happy we got it, and I remember raging at the discourse that was happening around it where people hated it, because I'm just let them be happy for 5 minutes, okay?
Yeah.
We'll ruin us later this month.
Yeah. So when I first read this book was right after I read the trilogy initially. So I read this first when it came out, and I had just read all 3 books like straight through. So I was like, oh my God, I love this so much. And then I read all the discourse and I'm like, oh my God, like, am I not supposed to love this? And I remember like feeling conflicted and I like lowered my star rating on Goodreads. I was like, oh my God. I'm so impressionable. And then upon my reread, I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna rate this 5 stars again because I love it. Like, it's just fun, and I think you have to go into it with the right expectation to know what you're gonna get out of it. Because if you think you're getting like a full-blown Sarah J. Maas novel, you're not. But if you're there for like the fluffy, fun times, it was fun. Like Zoe said, it's like reads like fan fiction, and it's just a good time. And I think knowing some of the background that Sarah J. Maas wasn't even going to publish this, but she was drinking with her editor or someone and was like, yeah, I write fan fiction about my own characters. And they were like, let's publish it. And she was like, okay.
I support that.
Mm-hmm.
I also think that like it's also necessary to kind of see just like how they're all to like dealing with everything post the week. I love that thing. I love that thing.
I know. It's so good.
So good. But I just think that it's necessary because it's a perfect bridge into A Court of Silver Flames. Like the series needed something in between to kind of explain how. Sorry, I just saw a comment about you.
Yes. Oh my God, he threw it into the river. I hope it comes back in this next book.
It throws over us. I'm like, how is he going to find it again? It has to come back. That has to come back in for sure. There were so many little Easter eggs. Like when I read it this time around, what I did was, I mean, I tabbed it like normal, but I specifically like put down purple tabs for what I hope to come up with, like in the.
I have green tabs for foreshadowing, and I tabbed a lot, especially towards the end with the Nesta scene.
100%. Some of my favorite scenes are in this book, though. Like my 2 favorite quotes in the series are like Amryn being called an angry snowball, and then Reese being like, "You brought weapons to Solstice," and he's like, "Well, also weapons to Solstice." Yes, boo.
And I definitely think that this book also laid the foundation for not only the Nesta book, but the other books that are going to happen. There's definitely going to be a more book with that like weird creature that she saw in her private estate. Probably something to do with Lucian and the Band of Exiles. I'm hoping that there's an Azriel and Elaine book, but that's just like my own personal ship.
I honestly don't know what that ship is going to be at all.
I have my own personal.
Like I have so many hopes for where
that was hilarious.
But like, who the hell knows where it's actually gonna go? Because we cannot trust anything that we read.
No. And
she's proven it in every series that we cannot trust a damn thing she writes. So who knows what's actually going to happen? Oh my God.
I know. I saw this TikTok conspiracy theory that someone posed this theory that Elaine is going to become evil, and Sarah J. Maas like made some sort of commentary on it, like, "Oh, ha ha ha," and I was like, "What?" Like,
there's no way.
Yeah, I don't know.
Imagine it.
No,
I can't to see it.
Yeah, because she has like she's drawn to Azriel, right? Who has like his shadows, so she has her own dark shadows, maybe.
And like a sick and twisted way, I could see it, because she went through some shit too. And it's always
she.
Yeah, she delivered the first of the killing blow to the king, so she's got some hidden things, and the fact that Azriel gave her truth teller, which I'm still not over.
That was a big moment. That's
that moment made me feel things.
There's a lot of symbolism in that one, but like I don't know. I have so many emotions still, and my brain is such mush. I just want to speed up time so we can get the next book.
I had like 3 days. And I'm like, it's too long. I need it now. If I could, if bookstores were open 24/7, I would be there. Like, you know how, like, you know, when video games release at midnight and like other things release, like, I'd be there.
I wish like they had book release parties, and they don't have them anymore. They used to have them for the book that shall not be named, and I never got to go because I was too young, and that hasn't happened. Like, there hasn't been book release parties since. So
Yeah.
sad.
It was a very different time in our lives with like everyone had cosplay going on too, and like we should bring that back. Like once
I'll go.
it's safe, let's do it.
I'm just gonna show up at Barnes and Noble dressed as a fae at midnight, and if no one's there, then I don't know, pick a lock or something.
Okay, so Steph, I'm super interested. I need to know, what were your thought changes? Like, what went on?
Oh, well,
Spill the tea.
I actually did end up rereading the entire series before I got to this one, because it's been like a few years since I read the original trilogy, and I don't know. I feel like Nesta was the character that changed a lot for me during the trilogy. You know, she was kind of a bitch, and then I felt like her. Yeah, I mean, kind of, but I felt like the third book kind of like explained kind of her back, like her perspective a little bit and her view, and I can kind of see where she was coming from. And then this book happened, and then I was like, I don't know. I just felt like the one thing I can always count on was for her love for Elaine. And I felt like in this book, that whole solstice thing, and she was like invited to the party, and the whole like rent and the money. I don't know. I just felt like my respect level for her just completely changed.
I think she's completely just hit rock bottom.
I agree with that, but also like it's supposed to be the sister that she loves. Like through everything, she was always on Elaine's side. Like she would literally like die for her. And then for her to like deny going to a party for her, I was like, I don't know.
I think that the reason why, there's two things I want to say for that. First thing I think is just because she was seeing how Elaine was laughing with everyone and getting along. Like she could see that Elaine was becoming a part of everything, and she just felt like, I think that she maybe feels a bit betrayed because of that. She was like, oh, I'll always have Elaine, and now she's lost Elaine to them. But also just because, I don't know, I didn't even realize, like the first time I read this, God, it was before it was the year I joined BookTube. It was the January of that year. But reading it this time around, there was the way that Nesta is dealing with everything, and the way that she's just, you know, using all these vices, the way that she's just literally so just numb to everything. It was something that I could so relate to, because it's things that like I've experienced myself in my own life, and that like reading this, I was like, when I first read this, like, yeah, I did pity her, and I was like, oh, okay, she's going through shit. But now this time that I'm reading it, I'm like, oh my God, I've literally been her. And I was like, now I'm like so much more excited to see like how she's going to progress from this, especially because now that she's going to the Illyrian camp and she has been, you know, using alcohol and men as like her vices. Like, you know, we all know what the Illyrian men are like. So what's it going to be like when she gets to the camp?
I hope she kicks some ass there with some misogynistic Illyrians.
Well, do you think it's going to be, is it going to be Devlin's camp, or do you think they'll be going to a different one?
I think they'll go to Devlin's camp. I
assume Devlin.
Okay, I have a theory. So you know how there was a cut threesome scene from A Court of Silver Flames? The threesome was definitely going to be with that shop girl that reminded
Wait,
Cassian.
she did cut it? I thought she kept it.
No, it was cut.
I'm going to riot.
I know. I need like that deleted scene. I need that deleted scene. But apparently there's going to be a threesome in like maybe Crescent City too, potentially. But it was cut from the editors made her cut it. She said they made me cut it. And
they're awful. Somebody should get fired.
I literally, why can't I have that in my life? But because the first time I read this, I was like, why are we like introducing this new character at this point? Like, why is she kind of flirting with Cassian? Like, what's going on here? But now I realize it was a setup for the threesome. But now it's not going to happen. But maybe that could be someone that like Nesta.
Oh, Emery?
With friends. Yes, Emery, that's her name.
I noted her down not because I thought it was going to be a threesome. I just thought she was going to be the character that Nesta like befriends and like was going to be the first person that she like begins to open up with again because
I think they'll become friends, but I think the intention was for them to become special friends.
quote of the day, special friends.
I'm just excited for Nesta to leave a trail of Illyrian bodies behind her because you know it's going to happen. Either in like a violent way or a sexual way, or maybe both.
Violent and sexual.
Maybe was it like the praying mantis where like the female has sex with the males and then rips their heads off? Maybe.
I think it is. I think that is the
I'd
premise.
be down for that.
We have a visitor coming. Somebody's a little bit upset.
Come
on.
Now I'm excited. I mean, I'm already excited, but now
Hi.
Oh.
Say hello. Oh my God. He's been yelling. Hi. No. Did you have thoughts about the book too? No.
Is this a good time to transition into the fact that Feyre wants to have a child?
I forgot that was discussed in this book. Like, I know that we know that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I mean, at this point, if you've read Acofas Start, you've probably read the Throne of Glass series.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, we all know that Feyre does get pregnant, but I was just like, do we think that she's going to be pregnant by the time we like? Do you think she's going to get pregnant during A Court of Silver Flames? Or do you think I feel like it's going to be.
It's going to happen
like
soon. Like it's going to happen within the realm of the new books, definitely. Because why write it into the other series? I don't know if it's going to be in this specific book. Like they're definitely
in the series.
Yeah, I definitely think that they're trying.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not that they weren't before, but they're actively trying. So like,
I think that'll be like at least a seriously discussed thing in the new book coming up. Possibly even like just discussions with the other characters.
Yeah, like what it would be like for them to have a child.
Yeah, like I could see Feyre talking to like Cassian or something and be like, so how do you feel about becoming an uncle?
That's true.
And then them, if they have like godparents or something, I could see them fighting over who gets to be a godparent.
Yeah, I think we'll get cute moments like that. Maybe like a pregnancy thing would be its own novella.
I could see that.
Yeah.
I'm still confused as to like the order of how the rest, like how many more books we're getting. I thought there was 8, like 3 novellas and 5 novels. Yeah,
it's unclear. They're gonna keep publishing whatever she writes because it makes money. So
because we are hoes for it, and we will
exactly, and I'm going to spend my money on it. So
yeah. I was also thinking, just like as I was rereading this, compared to like the Throne of Glass series, where like everything is kind of like all the places are explored, like we still have so much left of this world to look into. And also, she did just post on her Instagram like 2 days ago, like a picture of what the map looks like, and it's updated.
Yeah,
and so like, yeah, it's updated. The map for A Court of Silver Flames is updated. And also because we know that Maul is going to be like an emissary, like going to all these different places, like we're definitely like she's definitely taking on a larger role with like exploring her world, which is I think what she's realized since oh my God, your bird is in love. Sure.
Thank you.
I agree with what you're saying. I am listening. A wild animal climbing on me.
Oh my God.
Where's this? Where?
I'm pretty sure it's on her Insta or it's on Bloomsbury's Instagram, but there's like slide with like the final copy of the book and stuff, which I'm still bitter I have to buy a copy with that ugly ass cover, but I have enough dust jackets coming that it more than makes up for it.
Yeah.
I'm having nightmares about that cover regularly. It's
just like think of like how
But
I
I
don't
think
know, like we could have had such a badass. Like they could have taken the same concept,
Hang on. I know
right?
exactly.
And made like the bottom of like the top of Nesta's face like here or something. Like they should hire me. I have no graphic design experience, but I think I could have designed a better cover.
Hang on. There's one I found.
Carter could have designed a better cover. He's 10 months old.
There's this girl who created
Yes.
Oh, I saw that one. That looks really
Yes,
nice.
I like hello. Like
Party. Mama's trying to look at maps, okay? Come on.
like just to have it like
that
that.
would have been so badass. Yeah. I would have lost my shit over that cover. I would have been all over that.
I would have bought multiple copies. But
just
no.
to look at it. Just to look at it.
Hate us. Hate it.
Sigh.
I think I know why they gave us such a shit cover. I think I know.
So we can spend
like
more money on more
theory.
copies. I agree.
they know that they're shit, and then they're gonna come out with like oops, here's another mid-series cover change, and then we will buy all of them again because we have no self-control.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they're doing.
Well,
that looks amazing.
It's so weird seeing
I
like
couldn't find it.
The TikTok Sarah J. Maas fans who are like new and just discovering this for the same time, buying the new covers, and they're like, "It's not that bad."
And I'm like,
sweetie, yeah. It's that bad. It's that bad.
There's this thing called taste that's loud.
Yeah, right.
Taste? I don't know her.
Okay.
Yeah, the maps are on the Bloomsbury Publishing Instagram. And it's the second slide after her, like the new book.
Oh, I see it. I was looking at the video.
I think the biggest change is just the details, like that they kind of have everywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot more detailed.
Yeah,
it's really pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am a hoe for maps, and this one gets me going.
It's a good one. It's a good one. So let's talk about the scene with Rhys and Tamlin, where Rhys goes to like see Tamlin. Like there's 2 times he visits him, right? So let's talk about that interaction, because at the end of Aka War, he's like, "Be happy, Feyre," and we know that doesn't excuse him. Now he's just like miserable. I'm okay with that, but interested to hear what you guys are thinking about that.
Oh my goodness.
I
deserved it.
What do you think, Steph?
I feel like I don't have any sympathy for him, but at the same time, I feel like Rhys kind of like shitting on him again and again afterward was kind of like, I don't know, I feel like you're already beating what is that phrase where you're like kind of kicking a dog down already?
Yeah,
yeah. I feel like that was what was happening. Is that not the phrase?
Kicking a dog that's already down or something like that?
Or
I'm
like,
pretty sure beating a dead horse is something.
No, beating a dead horse is when you just like keep going on about something, but that's not.
But you guys know what I'm talking about.
Okay, well, anyways, these are like very violent metaphors. But
the phrase still stands, and I feel like that's kind of how I felt when he just kept on like ribbing him with everything, and I was like, he's already totally, like devastated. He lost everything, and then I don't know. I felt like it was a little excessive.
Yeah,
I
and how
like that the second time he was like more sympathetic. The first time he went, I think he still had so much pent up, just like bitterness towards him. Like he hates anyone who has been awful to Feyre. Like he still has animosity towards Nesta. He has animosity towards Elaine and Tamlin. Like, anyone who has ever wronged Feyre, he just like he cannot forgive anyone who's done anything, and like that's just a part of who he is. It's not something that like it's one of his flaws that like I'm not the biggest fan of, but like I do understand it. All I will say is like, at least thank the gods the second time he went there, he was like, "Eat, bro, bye."
Yeah, he kind of tried to make up for it, but was like not. It wasn't like he was all cuddly. Yeah. So yeah, to me, it just seems like the first time he was like just there to gloat, essentially, and then he kind of, what was it? Was it Lucian that changed his mind when he came and he like had like this bruise, and he like realized that Lucian wasn't there to like grovel to Tamlin, but was there to literally like make sure that Tamlin was like alive. Like just how bad off Tamlin was. And like I really don't have that much sympathy for Tamlin, but I kind of get that like these scenes need to be included so that it wasn't just like Tamlin has fallen off the face of the earth and that none of them don't think, or like that he still like exists in this
He still
universe. I like don't really want him to see like get a redemption arc, but like he can just like chill alone in his house and like maybe not be like that bad. Like he can like
chill alone.
Like come up a few levels, like be sad, like millennial depressed, like that would be fine. Not like verge of whatever he's on.
I'm wondering if eventually we'll see like restart to be able to forgive anyone who's wronged Feyre once like the whole like initial mating bond settles and it's not such like nonstop shit happening to her, like one of them dying or the other one dying, and like once they get a few centuries maybe of like relative peace, if then he'll be like, maybe I was a little
I think we have a Nesta and Elaine, definitely.
Yeah.
And I think it's a bit hard for him to forgive Tamlin right away because like he's also held a grudge against him for like hundreds of years for killing his mother and
That's true.
sister.
Yeah.
So when they were friends. So like I feel like they got a lot to work through and it definitely is not going to be like all forgiven in a day.
Yeah, I feel like just everything that he keeps doing is just like a snowball effect on like everything that Rhys has already been through with Tamlin, that like they'll never have like anything great, but I think eventually they'll be able to be in the same room.
Yeah, I don't know.
We'll give it a couple centuries, but like the fact that they have been alive for hundreds of years, it's like, just think about how much somebody can annoy you over the span of 1 year. All of that, and then you have like magical powers on top of it, and then like family murders happening back and forth, and then the shit with Feyre on top of it. Like, I get why he's angry, and I understand, but I agree. I think like we'll eventually see him at least start to forgive Nesta for
because that like he hasn't known Nesta that long, hasn't known Elaine that long. Like it hasn't had a lot of time to fester. Whereas like with Tamlin, it's literally like 100th year kind of thing.
And they didn't murder anyone, so that's
new.
That's a new thing for him. He's gonna be angry at someone without murderation.
Yeah, and like it. Okay, so this is kind of like going on to my next topic, because Nesta obviously hot topic here because next book is about her, and just everyone's perspective on her, because I've seen a lot of discourse about Nesta, especially if you just scroll through like Sarah J. Maas TikTok. Like some people are like, I hate Nesta, like she deserves no forgiveness whatsoever, and some people are like, let's go Nesta book. Some people are kind of like in the middle. So I'm curious as to what everyone's thoughts on her. Like, do you think that she was an abuser to Feyre? And if not, like, what are your thoughts and opinions on her relationship with her? Because I have seen some people say, like, Nesta abused Feyre. So, interested to see what you guys think.
I agree. Like, I'm curious for her book because there's a lot of things to unpack with Nesta. She's been through some shit. She's been real shit, and then like. I agree that she was abusive, but like we found out her reasons, but it's still like, that's your baby sister. You could have done something. You had so much love for one sister, but not the other one because you thought she could fend for herself. Like, I don't care who you are. That's still a child. That's your baby sister. Like, I'm curious to see like what more we can get from her, because like I like her, but I hate her at the same time.
It seems like there was a moment, I don't know if it was Aqua War or Acofas, I can't remember, probably Acowar, where Nesta, like, Feyre asked Nesta, and she's like, why weren't you ever as close with me as you were, like, with Elaine? And Nesta was about to answer, and then they got cut off by, like, something or other happening. So I'm curious to see if we're going to come back to that.
I bet it really. I bet it has something to do with their mum, and I bet it's something that Feyre does not even remember because she was so young. Yeah, I bet it's something that she has no clue happened, and I bet there's some, because I think that what we're really going to get from her book is a lot of backstory into her childhood and just the childhood in general. I think it's going to be a huge thing, and you know, we've learned a lot throughout the series how much like Nesta's just abhors her dad. She doesn't even mean to the grave, you know. And you know, the whole death of their mum. There's just something
something there
that we have to find out, and I think that's going to be a massive.
And we know that Feyre made the promise to the mom that she was going to take care of the family, right? Which, like,
that no one else knew about.
Yeah, so it's like there's definitely something that happened there that's unexplored for sure.
I think Nesta was abused by someone close to them or someone in the family, because that would explain a lot of her behavior and the way she's lashed out and her trust issues, because she would have been pretty young at that point. Because
I think it all boils down to the mom. I feel like a lot of unknown certainties are all focused on the mom. And I think the new series will definitely focus on the backstory and just like her perspective and like her thoughts during the entire time. And I feel like that would explain so much.
Yeah, I feel like we're definitely missing pieces to fully have opinions. My perspective on it is that her behavior towards Feyre was definitely like toxic and not great. But I think like the person that's ultimately responsible for the abuse of all three of them is the father, who was neglectful of them. And I think a lot of times in the Nesta discourse, it like people kind of forget about the fact because the father wasn't really a character that was present. So it seems like all that responsibility falls on Nesta. And like to some degree, it probably does because she is the oldest child, but it wasn't solely on her to take care of the family. And like she definitely has some other things that are going on that are kind of
and I feel like at the end of the day, Nesta was also a child, you know? So
yeah. Like it's just hard. Like, how do you know like what each person is kind of like responsible for? Because her behavior is horrible, but like ultimately it's the parent that's responsible for the child, and the dad just completely neglected all three of them, and all three of them had different reactions that caused then different dynamics within their relationships with each other.
Yeah, one thing that Scarlet Moon Creations just said was that they're curious about what happened with Nesta after the war and why did she change so much. I think a big part of that has to do with the fact that the cauldron was broken and then remade, because you got to remember that she took from the cauldron and her were like connected, they were one, and the whole breaking of it was just like, you see, I don't know if everyone's edition has like the little extra at the back of it.
Yeah, I think
the little sneak peek into the next book. Where we see her experience of going into the cauldron and everything, and how she did take the connection. And so the breaking of the cauldron, I think, is going to be a huge part of it, especially because like they say multiple times, like, does she still have anything left in there? And like, I think that's also why we still see Elaine as like 50-50 in this book, talking about her sea powers and whether or not she still has them. But also, Sarah J. Maas, like there have been a bunch of quotes on the Bloomsbury Instagram. One of them would mention that like, I don't know, there's some scene and apparently there's silver flames like in her eyes, like, you know, kind of how Amren had like the silver. Apparently that is seen in her eyes. So there's definitely like she took from it. Like I think that what she took, she still has. I still think that the whole breaking of it still like something.
It definitely affected her for sure.
Yeah, but that's just my theory. I think Amren still has powers too. And they mention in here, they actually say what little power she still has left. So she still does something.
She still does something.
Amren becoming like a fae was freaking hilarious. I have to say, this book just made me laugh so hard.
I'm like, wow.
So so annoying. And then Reese was like, should we install bathrooms all over the city for you?
And she's like, you know what? Yeah, you should.
Are public bathrooms not a thing anymore?
I love
know,
how
I
her
guess
first
it's
reaction.
going to-
I actually have to eat now. Like she was so mad about having to eat. Like,
I know. Because like usually she just drank down the blood.
yeah,
No, she was
didn't
mad
have to
about
chew.
eating and then what she to do after she ate.
but
No,
like
my thing is, like she drank the. Okay, really? She
It-
drank the blood. But how did that never come out of her before? I don't understand.
I guess it would have gone through the stomach into the bloodstream.
Oh.
Yeah, science. Mm-hmm.
science.
I don't think that's how it works. I think it probably would get destroyed by the stomach. Okay, well, anyways, fairy
Well, she was
science is
eating out, so.
insane. So that's my fairy science explanation.
And you got to think too, like without eating, she had a lot of extra free time because how much time a day do we spend eating or making something to eat or whatever?
True.
True.
Very true.
Her whole life was uprooted. Her basic life. I want to quickly mention something that I have a guess for at least however many books we're going to get for Nesta. And that is, we talk a lot about this book, especially in Cass's POV, with the blood rite. And I bet that Nesta is going to participate in the blood rite.
And become an Illyrian.
And I bet, because I say not everyone makes it and like touches it. And like, I think that's also another part of why Cass and Az and Reese have so much power as well, is because like they say that when you touch that stone, like it gives you something. And I think that like she's definitely, she's going to make it up there. She's going to be like, well, bam.
Mm-hmm. I think
bet
she's gonna like assist other females that are like gonna do the right or something like that.
Well, because Cass also mentions in this, like, he's like, I'll do whatever it takes to like help quell all the like tensions. He's like, hell, I'll even participate in the blood rite again. And I think that him and Nesta will participate in it together. And then there'll be some stuff that we'll get. Theories.
I enjoyed that theory.
Thank you. I was very proud of that one. I was like, bam. I was like, that's happening. Oh my god. What else?
Does anyone else have any prominent theories for what they think is going to happen in the next book? And in the comments too, if anyone has any theories, let us know. We can discuss. I don't know. I feel like we've kind of run through. Okay, who does everyone ship Elaine with? Finally, a question for me. I ship Elaine with Azriel, and if this ship does not happen, I will take to the streets and run because, like, I literally need them to be together. Like, I think that we've had so much Sarah J. Maas content with the mating bond this and the mating bond that, and like we have in the Throne of Glass series that happens, and this happens. I have a strong suspicion that Cassian and Nesta are mates, so I'd like
They
to
have
see
to be named. They
have to be. If you've
They
read
have
that extra like little scene that was deleted, Wings and Ember, there's a connection. There's a connection between them.
No,
So,
it's more than this. It says, I forget if it was Feyre or Reese's POV, but they say,
and they were like, "Do you think they are?" And they're like,
no, it's not even that. No, one of them just thinks like in their regular thoughts. One of them's like, I recognize. Oh, it was Reese with Nesta and how she completely like after everything happened, she completely cut him out. Like after the whole like saving him scene in Acofas, he's like, but I understand what she's going through, because remember when he realized the mating bond, he was like, oh.
Yeah, you're like,
the same thing. And so
I bet we'll get flashbacks to that scene, and like we will see that like probably a mating bond had maybe like snapped in there. Okay, but back to Elaine and Azriel, because I will die on this hill. I know it's cliche to have like the three sisters end up with like the three Illyrians, blah blah whatever. I want it like just the interactions between Elaine and Azriel are just like so pure. He like sits with her while she does her little gardening, and he gave her truth teller and everything. And I want her to reject the mating bond with Lucian and be with Azriel. And that's my hill. What are your thoughts?
Well, I'm not a fan of Lucian anyways, so I'm totally I just felt like it was super cute. There was that whole dinner scene when he made everyone wait, and he was like, "Captain, don't
Oh my
eat."
god,
I know, yes. And,
And
then
then
he's sensitive about something
He's
to
like,
his
"Why?
mother. And I was like,
Why can't I eat?"
No,
was super
I
cute.
forgot that she gave him that tonic for his
oh my
headache.
God.
I sat there, I totally spaced, and when that happened, I died. I died.
Like, if they don't end up, there's definitely going to be like some sort of. They have to have a book after this. I'm sorry, there has to be like a Lucy and Elaine
Azriel
book, and where she's like, "Bye, Lucian. Let's reject this mating bond. I'm gonna be with Azriel now." And that's that.
I'm curious. I know about this, but this was my dad's theory. He thinks that it's going to be Lucian and Vath are going to end up together.
Yes.
And that's why it'll be Azriel and Elaine.
Hear me
I
out.
like that
What if
theory.
it's the Band of Exiles just turns into a poly relationship between Lucy and Jurian, and that's.
You know what? I fuck with that too. That I'm more than happy.
I'd be down for that too. And okay, let's see.
I think this is like I think Tor. I just literally read something. Tor. I think that Tamlin has to have a mate.
There's a theory that Amarantha was his mate.
Who?
Right? Amarantha? Have you guys heard that theory? That like that's why she coveted Tamlin so much and like made this whole curse for him was because he was like rejecting the mating bond with her.
No, I think she was just being a jealous bitch.
But yeah, but I mean that's a theory. I don't know if that will.
That is, I don't agree with that theory.
I wanted to highlight this comment. There's a part where Nesta looks at Cass and she stops talking and he ignores more. I think the mating bond clicked in. I don't recall this moment, but I think there's many moments where they are acknowledging something between them for sure. Like there's definitely some sort of connection. Like they definitely probably have some sort of soul bridge, like Feyre and Rhys, but to some lesser degree because they're not Gamatai or whatever. And there's a lot of moments where they like, you just see that they kind of like pause and they have this connection. I have to put this comment up. Tamlin needs a therapist.
I agree.
So, like, I just need there to be like a little chapter. Like, and so Tamlin went to this therapist, and like he's doing some like CBT, and it's a great time.
Cognitive behavioral.
Yes.
Oh my god. No, I don't know. I think the ships are going to be really interesting to see how they all kind of end up playing out. I think that with the whole Azriel Elaine thing, I think that as much as like Azriel does feel something for Elaine, nothing is going to happen until him and Moore deal with their whole thing. Like until Moore officially rejects him, I don't think he'll ever be able to be with Elaine. So
yeah, I think that I think it's going to play out across several books.
I don't know. Well, I think it's going to be interesting because when this starts off, A Court of Silver Flames, I think that she should be gone, like on her, like her book should be happening, like while that's happening, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. Well,
it could be like a whole Tower of Dawn situation where like Empire of Storms and Tower of Dawn.
Was she in? I didn't reread the part at the back because I wanted to go fresh. So, was she in like that?
No.
Okay, no. So maybe she was already. Yeah. Well, because she was in her like private estate, and then she was going to Winter Court. So I don't know where she's after that.
That was her first part of the mission was to go there.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be interesting to see. I'm just interested to see how the timeline's going to work for these because like Mist and Fury and Wings and Ruin all happened within the span of 1 year because when Frost and Starlight starts off, she's like, oh, it was a year ago that like solstice and everything. So I'm curious to see how like this is all going to play out because, well, I did look at the synopses like very vaguely for Silver Flames, and obviously like we do know it's gonna have to do with like the human queens. So which I'm kind of surprised about because I thought that maybe the human queens is gonna be more of like an overarching theme for all the books.
And that area is more sketched out on the map. So it might go there.
It's true. Well, Az has to be the one to take her down.
Oh, that would be so sad. If she like goes evil.
Go ahead. No.
I don't know because I saw that whole conspiracy theory about how like Elaine might be evil on TikTok.
I can imagine that being the case.
Or
I also kind of see it, but I don't want to believe it.
Yeah. There's definitely some stuff with Elaine too. Because I also think like her closest friends now are like wraiths, like shadow wraiths. So maybe some inner shadows
that she's drawn to the other shadow-like creatures.
Yeah, we learned in Winds in Ruin, you know how when she first went to Devlin's camp, Nesta was called a witch, and then we learned about what the witches are. And I think that's going to play a role, and I'm not really sure because they say that like witches are people who take magic and like make it into their own. So like they're not necessarily like, born with it. And so I do think that's going to play a part in one of the sisters, like maybe like I thought that maybe it could be Nesta, like if she did lose enough magic that like she could go down that path to like gain it back. But it could be interesting to see if that's maybe the path that Elaine takes to try and get magic for herself to like kind of become strong.
I think like at the moment, besides this whole like little romantic tension thing that Elaine has going on, she doesn't have enough going on to have a whole book. So I think that in the background of this, there is going to be things that start to happen with Elaine that will play into her book in the future.
Yeah, she needs more.
She needs more because she's not. It's like she kind of like is fleshed out as a character, but I think she needs like a little more to have more of a story. Because right now she's really just a side character.
Yeah,
the forgotten middle child.
So you guys think that there will be a whole series based on Elaine?
At least a whole, like, I think most of the characters are going to get their own books at this point, or at least a whole novella is kind of what Sarah J. Maas has alluded to.
Okay.
So
that'd be nice.
It's going to be like kind of like a serial, I think, from this point forward. I am enjoying this theory.
I think that's, initially, my thought was that Lucian was going to take it over because technically he is a High Lord's son and he does have all these powers. But then technically he is like Helian's only heir at this point. And so like how that's all. Oh my god. Helian Spellcleaver trying to break Vass's curse. He is the son of Helian. Oh my god.
That's a good point. Oh my god. Because Vassa was like, I hear you got some spell cleaving powers. Like, you want to try and help me out? And Farrah's like, okay, I'll like help you out in the future. But Lucian doesn't know that he is the son of the spell cleaver. That's a good one. You stumbled across something good there.
I'm very invested. But I could see Elaine. I mean, Elaine, she loves all like the grass and the greens and the shit like that. So like I could see her being spring court.
The essence of spring.
Wouldn't it be dope if like Tamlin could like transfer his like High Lord powers to someone?
Oh, and like start like a new line with Elaine.
Well, yeah, he ain't having no babies. That shit ain't happening.
No. That would be cool. That's a very interesting direction to take the theory. Because you know what? I'm mad because like spring is my favorite season, and I feel like Tamlin like ruined it for not like ruin spring, but like I want spring to have a better reputation. Because I personally enjoy springtime.
Well, I'm a fan of fall, and I don't like the fall court, so.
Yeah. What do you? Oh, I think that. So there was like some hints with Eris as well too. That there's something more to that story with him and Moore, and reasons why he couldn't maybe like act the way that he wanted to.
Well, he says that it's because that if he did, that then Moore would have had to stay in the Autumn Court and be their property.
Right, like,
you don't want to be here. He's like, if I come and save you, you're stuck here, and you're not going to want that. So I can't help you.
Right.
But also,
well, I have not heard this possibility.
I've not heard of it either.
I don't like
as well. I don't like this.
but I can kind of see like hate sex, kind of.
Oh, like if like Eris comes around and Nesta is like still leaving her trail of men behind, and she's like,
why not?
I don't know. I could see that.
Yeah.
But I like really like. I just hope at this point, like Sarah Damas could not do like the bait and switch with Nesta and Cassian. Like I can't.
No, she
can't.
confirmed with their end game. She did confirm that. So we don't have to worry.
Okay, good. Where did she confirm that?
I think it was in a live that she did.
I need to find her lives and like.
She has so many. I
know it's hard. That's why I just find snippets on TikTok and I'm like, I'm deep down in the black hole right now.
I can deal with this with Eris and Nesta, knowing that Cassian and Nesta are endgame.
Right, because at this point she's already slept with like a bunch of guys that suck. So like,
oh, you know what would really suck?
Happening. What?
If she has sex with Devlin. I think I would like.
No. I don't know if like she's going to continue on her trail of like sleeping around when she's in the Illyrian camp though.
Well, I don't think they have a lot of booze there, and she normally sleeps with people only when she's drunk AF. So like,
yeah, so like it could be like it's obviously like a forced intervention, right? Like they're probably going to be watching her too closely for her to do that. But I don't know.
I just think some therapy would be
ready.
You missed it before I put up a comment because someone said Tamlin just needs some therapy.
They all need therapy, honestly. I need therapy after that fiasco just now.
I mean, you did just read it in the last 27 hours. So.
Oh no, I mean the more immediate fiasco. My dog stole one of the baby's toys and destroyed it.
Okay. Well, that's too. That's too.
That was fun.
Okay, so what do you guys think will happen with Eris? I mean, we did kind of talk on this more, but there is more to go into on it.
Well, because Reese does say like, oh, him and like Eris and Kia are definitely planning something, and like they're not exactly sure what that's going to be yet. And while it's still kind of tame, not to worry about it, but I think that that's going to play into Moore's book because she's the one who's mainly dealing with the peace treaty and going around places, and since they're trying to like mess with it, I think that's going to be that's going to be in the background of these books, and that it's not going to come into play until like
it's definitely like going to have to do with more and Moore's emotional healing, and I think that Eris is definitely going to make like a bid for the Autumn Court throne with the help of Kier.
I would rather him than
like
Baron.
Reese has like now promised his help, so there's going to be a sticky situation there.
Well, especially since what's his face is Hellion's heir, technically. Like he won't be making a bid for the Autumn Court. So
and he's already like, well, I guess he can't because he's not actually related to the High Lord. So he's like not.
The thing is that no one knows that except for Baron and.
Does Eris?
No, I don't think
that's going to come out. That's
like,
going to come out.
Not even like no one else knows.
No one suspected, which is like you guys have been alive for a long time and you have nothing better to do with your lives. So how have you not figured that out yet?
Because he has the firepower from his mum. He shouldn't. He shouldn't have had that power, but because she was so hella powerful, oh my god!
But just like
it's too big. Hi. Say hi. This is my special guest, Gavin. Hi.
Hi, Gavin.
He's like a baby.
He's beautiful.
He's a big baby.
He's super cute.
Right?
How old is he?
He's 9 months old.
Oh my god.
Baby.
Steph. Oh.
Hi. Okay. Oh. Hi. He literally just yeeted himself out of my lap.
Oh god. Oh, I have a note for cabin hunt, and I have no idea what I meant by that when I read the book. But there was something to do with like.
Oh, the snowball fight?
No, but it was something. It was not just the snowball fight that they said. Like the guys said that there's something else that they do. Oh, they normally go hunting for the creatures, don't they?
Kira came in and decoded that mystery.
It's true. She did.
Yeah.
Like she saw the guy for 5 seconds and was like, "Holy shit! How have you guys not noticed they have the same face?" And then Reese is like, "Oh my god! Like, you guys dumb." I'm so mad about it. It's fine.
We're all like, "Oh shit!" I was like that.
They make it their business to know everything about everyone else.
Yeah.
But like that one, you missed that one.
That made me think of another thing about Azriel and Elaine. Is that Azriel won't spy on Lucien because he's like, it's an invasion of Elaine's privacy. That boy spies on every person ever.
But he turns into a cinnamon roll when it comes to her. And that's why they need to be endgame. Because that dynamic, he will murder literally everyone for her. Especially for her. But like he won't do anything that harms her in any way. Oh, he's so pure when it comes to her. I love it. I love it.
So let's talk about the cabin scene. We haven't talked about that yet. The little spicy scene.
Oh, when they go back?
Yeah, when they go back to the cabin. And he basically like mind fucks her.
I will admit that was like a little, I was like, I still don't get how this works.
I don't know if we're supposed to get how it works.
That it was like a literal mind fuck. And I was like, okay.
It gave a whole new meaning to mindfuck.
Exactly.
Now I'm a little bit sad that that's not like something that can actually happen because it just seems interesting.
I know.
It seems like a lot less effort too.
You just have to think about it. It'll happen.
Yeah, when you're just thinking it. I like that. I mess with it.
Yeah, it was like, I don't know. It was just like a super cheesy SJM little sex scene, and I enjoyed it because it just has her usual flair for the dramatic, and I'm trash for it.
That's fair, because same.
Yeah. It's like everyone just like makes fun of like the mountains were shaking, and like when I see the jokes, I'm like, oh, that's so funny. But when I'm reading it, I'm like,
I get it.
Like, I get it.
You have to be there to get how it worked. Oh my god. Where's the lie? Someone asked,
what? I saw someone ship Elaine.
That's a no zone.
No.
Whoever ships that needs
Don't
therapy.
touch that. No.
Feyre made the cabin look like a kindergarten classroom. Okay. Did anyone else from the very beginning of the series just think like, what if she's not actually that good at painting and she's like so into it? What is it like? Was it old school or Not Another Teen Movie or something where the girl's like, so I painted this and it took so long, and then it's stick figures? That's what I picture every time. And it's like she's so into all these paintings and she's talking about all these colors and everything, but like, what if she's really bad and no one wants to say anything to her?
I keep thinking like picturing like blobs of color because he uses like actual paint, right? So I just kept thinking of like splotches.
Like a little like colic where she's like,
it's like I was going for like one of the mosaic look.
Well, because like she was laughing at more in Acofas how she painted like the stick figures next to her stuff, and she's like, she made the Illyrian warriors look puffed up on their own importance as stick figures, and I'm like, are you being a critic because you're really good or because you think you're really good? Because like, what if you're drawing stick figures too?
I think she has to be good to some extent, only just because like she does like all the sketches of Reese as he's naked, and then like she also like is now running this shop. Like I don't think that like people would admire her art if she was like that shit. I mean, yeah, I know she's high lady, like you can't be rude to her, but she also has like such an eye for everything, and I think that if she were like, I feel like if she were that shit when we saw Reese's POV or anyone else's POV, like we would see in their minds them being like,
like the first time, like in Avatar. Say again?
They all bought her gifts to do with painting. Like they wouldn't be encouraging it if she sucked.
They love her, and she's been through a lot of shit. Don't underestimate what they would do for someone like that. Oh my god. Sweetie, you're doing amazing. Okay? Follow your passions. And she's garbage. Oh my god. Honestly, that would be the greatest twist of all time. I would never stop laughing.
You know what? If she was bad, we'd see the Nesta POV in the next book when Nesta would be the one to be like, you know what, she's not even that fucking good. Like, I feel like that's if it is true, it will come out from her.
That's true. Like, what do we think her illustrations of like Reese naked is like? Just like a stick figure,
a blob.
I think it would just be like a
cartoon with a penis.
Yeah. Oh, you know, that's a good point. All she had were primary colors for like 10 years. Like, she really didn't have much to experiment with color-wise.
Exactly. And like little doodles are not the same as giant canvases. And then
but she did remember when she was in the first book with Tamlin, she like filled up an entire room with portraits. Like
fill up an entire room of bad portraits. That's the thing. And Tamlin was hella in love with her too. And he's like, this bitch is gonna break my curse, so I'm gonna lie to her and build her up.
I refuse to believe that she's shit. I refuse to believe it. I'm sorry.
I can't stop picturing that scene from I think it's not another teen movie where she's so into the painting and then it's just stick figures and it's so bad. That was my first image when I read Aotar for the first time, and I'm like, there's no way this bitch is good. Like there's no way. Oh my god, I'm so delirious, and that image is just keeping me going.
Okay, Scarlet Moon said she's probably just average. I think she's probably just like an average. Like, I doubt that her shit's like, oh my god, let's put this up in like a national museum. Like, I think she's probably just like fine.
Like, I could see like years down the road with practice, and like natural talent can only get you so far. And like I can see her being amazing one day, but like at the start, I don't know.
Yeah,
especially because the one that Tamlin wanted, when he was like, "This is the painting I want," it was like the trees, and she was like, they were just like scraggly sticks on the white background. That's the one that he wanted for himself.
Yeah, and she was like, "What
does that tell you?" It's too much for me. Oh my god, I'm fine. I'm totally fine.
You know what? At least, okay. Also, can I just say, this just came because I was thinking about Elaine and her gardening. She's actually good at that. But remember, she's now a baker, and you know, she baked Feyre's like birthday cake with like the flowers and the flames and stuff. I'm sorry, but I feel like that would be a really ugly cake.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure the like
ugly cake.
I can see it.
She's gonna have to like commission Charlie Bower to do.
Oh my god, I love Charlie Bower as Prince. I'm so depressed.
And then, but I feel like Elaine though is like baking with the Wraiths, so like they're probably like helping her. I mean, it's symbolism, okay? It doesn't have to look good. People are just gonna eat it anyways.
Why does he look so salty?
He's got thoughts about the painting.
Yeah. No, he's about to have the zoomies and run around. I can see it in his eyes.
Is he watching like Al or something?
Yeah. With Alex are having a stare contest.
I was gonna say, I feel like I knew it was Alex. I knew it. Just like a feeling.
They're staring at each other.
Oh my gosh.
There's a case of the zoomies happening. Good luck, because that's just what happened when I had to leave. Carter threw a toy out of his playpen, and then Tyson was like, "Zoomies? Okay," and destroyed the whole thing. Oh my god! So that was fun.
He's like crouching. Are you like about to go on the attack, my guy?
I'm trying to think if there's like anything else like kind of came up in here that I was like,
oh, there goes.
Bye.
It was definitely fake boss quality. No, it was definitely not. There's no way.
We think Amran's gonna get a book, or she's just like chilling.
I don't know. I think she's done.
Same.
I mean, I feel like I would be interested in reading about like a prequel before she went through the rip. I think that would be an interesting story.
Yeah, I don't think like going for like she has Varian. She's just like chilling.
I wonder if it's gonna be a novella, like the pre-world crossing.
Mm-hmm.
I think that if we do see that, like it would also then tie into menage vaccines, please.
Well, earlier we had talked about that there was a cut threesome, and I'm salty about that. So I want the deleted scene to be released.
Yes.
I think, you know what, my money's on the fact that, you know, when the paperback comes out for Court of Silver Flames, it'll be the
bonus content.
Mm-hmm.
I think
no one's going to buy the ugly ass bright orange paperback because we know it's going to be bright orange because the
pattern. Yeah. I think that my like feeling of the reason that I was probably cut had to do with like her not being able to make the dynamic between the three work because it is like a Cassie and Nesta.
Well, like with Jay Kristoff, like that threesome scene he wrote initially, like it didn't actually work into the plot line, so he just released it as a pre-order bonus, and it was still hot. So.
Yeah, so I think like it didn't work for character reasons, but I still want it. Besides that, I think that there needs to be some like good hate sex, like where they're mad at each other, but then they like go at it anyways.
Oh, that's
like the spark between them, you know? It's like,
I can't even like. I'm so excited. I'm so.
Your body is ready.
My body is just like so pumped. Like reading this now was like the perfect timing to like. I'm so glad like we didn't do it like a month prior or anything. Like it was like days beforehand because it just got me so primed for this book, and I'm just like.
I'm excited. So Scarlet Moon Creations comment is: does anyone else think Emery is to those beings? Yes, 100%. Like this is the Moss verse, and everything is connected.
Yeah, she definitely didn't write Amran as that, but like obviously like when she wrote Crescent City, I think she now like it's all the books that are going to be coming out Crescent City. Well, no, all the books coming out Kingdom of Ash onwards.
In the rain.
Rain? Oh my god! The blood right. When the blood right, because they can't do anything, they can't go anywhere. It's going to be raining.
Bring it on! I'm ready.
The answer is yes.
Also, this one, I could not see Amran raising a child.
She would be so pissed.
Varian could do it. She
would like
forget to feed the child.
I mean, she's already complained about peeing, so
having like a whole child.
I can see her like hating it while she's pregnant and then like complaining, but then being like, you know what?
My baby's better than yours.
Yeah. Oh, this brought up another theory that I have. So in A Court of Frost and Starlight, it like was brought up how like the phase periods work. They only get them every 6 months, and that Elaine and Nesta are coming up on their period. So I think that's going to be like Nesta's going to get her period in the camp, and Cassian's going to comfort her. She met them.
Well, it's in the crossover scene in Empire in Kingdom of Ash when.
Well, she was falling.
Well, yeah. It's technically like she met them because like
she saw them. Yeah, true.
He gave his
made eye contact.
Because he moved her along in like her little falling journey. So like,
When are
we gonna find out what the Darkfall things are?
This comment, I think that Amron is somewhat related to. I can never pronounce his name. The guy with the A, the Prince of Hell.
Oh, Adis.
Adis, like obviously, if there's like a Prince of Hell, and then we have angels and stuff like that, but like, what if there's like more higher beings that like? Because she was basically
we literally have
to rain down justice, right? What?
We have the death gods. You know, we had the bone carver, the
yeah,
and then the guy, the third brother by the lake who captured Bassa is the third death god. So
yeah.
Although we only have one left now because the
other two died. Yeah. So I definitely think that she's something to do with the Crescent City creatures.
See, I'm curious now because if there is that tie with Amron and the Crescent City people, if there's gonna be a future series or with the Death Gods with like their original world,
I could see
if something would happen.
I don't know because I just feel like I don't think Sarah J. Maas really like goes back to write things. Like I don't know if she would go and write something that was set in the past, but I think it would connect. But it would
not even in the past because he said he thinks that the world is gone. What if it's not?
Oh, like set in that world.
Yeah, and there's some sort of crossover, or if something about like the Death Gods comes up in a later Crescent City book.
Yeah,
and it's like there's a tie there somehow.
One thing I just remembered, literally, because I just
you had like an epiphany.
I know, well, because when I was editing my reread vlog, I was like, I had all these like ideas throughout it. Literally, so it was an hour and 40 minutes of raw footage.
I can't believe you got it down to 30 minutes.
I don't even know how I did that. I cut a lot of my like random ramblings and theories, but one of the things that came up was the fact that in Aka War, the Bone Carver mentions to Feyre how when he first came to the world that there was a certain human with a bloodline that was like magical and stuff, and like there's like a whole thing there, and I'm wondering if maybe like the Bone Carver meeting this like human with magic has something to do with like a bloodline that will come into play, like maybe in Crescent City or something. Yeah, you know, the Book of Breathings is there.
Are we getting Crescent City 2 in like the fall of this year? Is that what?
I think we're next year. I don't think she'll have. I think she's going to be back down to one a year.
Sad.
1 a year. Well, she's
busy. I know, but like,
it's not like Holly Black with like 200-page books.
True.
And like, there's so much going on in each series, and like so many little things and little like
details.
Side plots that need to connect eventually, that like I cannot imagine writing all of these books at once.
No, where did Steph go?
Oh, bye.
Oh, I know. I'm so sad the Bone Carver's dead.
I know.
I forgot that he died, and so when I reread the book, I was like, "That's rude." I was like,
I know.
Because I remembered my babe, the cereal died. That was also.
Okay, no, that we can't talk about that. That hurts my feelings still.
Steph's computer died.
And she's like, just tell me your name. And he was like, bye.
Okay, this comment, I'm just confused. Crescent City was supposed to come out in November, but last month you only turned first edits. So it might be out next year before Crescent City.
I think
like the next book would in Aco.
It's supposed to be November. Yeah.
So Crescent City was supposed to come out this November, but she just turned in her first edits of the book for the first pass, which means that there's probably still going to be a couple left. I still think that if they're going through the first pass now, technically they could still come out with it in November, just from like what I'm learning. But because of how much she's got going on, like I doubt she'll have the time to. She's a busy lady, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like she's got children and shit.
Like I could see if she gets it done or if she thinks that she can hit those deadlines, like they would push for that book to get out sooner because they know how much money they'll make off of this.
Yeah, and then they'll want like. Do you think she's gonna like alternate like Aotar and Crescent City books? I think so.
Because she was doing that with the Throne of Glass ones.
Yeah,
and Aotar.
Yeah, because we got Echo War, then we got Tower of Dawn.
Sorry.
you're back.
I'm dead. The only unproblematic character is a cereal. Word. There's no lie there. I love the cereal. I'm so depressed.
So, have you guys heard? The word on the street is that the first 6 chapters of Acos were leaked.
Yeah.
Acofas.
I hate it. Whoever decided that was a good idea needs to get slapped.
Otherwise, it was going to be Acosaf, which also sounds kind of stupid. Like Acosaf.
Well, we have Acofas, so it's like just like a
Acofas. Like the fast.
Well, like it just keeps the pace of the acronyms going. I don't know. Anyway, so the first 6 chapters got revealed, and people on TikTok. I mean, I haven't looked for them, haven't read them. I'm like trying to go into this.
I've been
but like people on TikTok are going insane. They're like, "Oh my god, the inner circle is problematic, and I feel so bad for Nesta, and Cassian is really horny," and that's all I've gotten.
That's a bad thing.
Yeah. Like obviously, the way that the inner circle intervenes is probably not great.
You know what I reckon is the problem is the fact that these are probably a lot of new readers who are just getting into the series for the first time and aren't realizing that this is an adult series now. Like it started off as YA.
But not even really, yeah. Like it was supposed to be NA and then NA failed, so then they kind of just like
book 1 wasn't really steamy. Book 1 really had very
but it had like an explicit
but it's really like there were other
YA
that like have that level. Like Acofas, it became clearly new adult, and then I think that it just keeps happening. And I think that people just aren't like people who aren't regular fantasy romance or like smutty readers are just they're not going to be prepared for what these new books are going to be like because she's embracing the smut, and like not a lot of authors who are transitioning from YA to adult are doing that. Like when Lee Bardugo transferred from YA to adult, like her book was just gory AF and just had a lot of like detailed like topics, but it wasn't like sexual. Like a lot of the authors that are going from YA to adult aren't doing that in like a sexual way. They're doing it more because of the content.
Yeah, I agree. I want to pull up this comment because the inner circle makes some rough decisions, and I do want. It's kind of going along with like the adult theme is that we're going at. Okay, what are you doing? Is that we're gonna have to see the inner circle like put in a situation that's really tough because facing an intervention on someone is like never okay. He just took my blanket. It's like never pretty. So I think that, and no one's perfect, right? Sarah J. Maas is really good at making sure that all of her characters have some sort of flaw. So I think we're gonna be seeing more of the flaws. And also the fact that you are just getting the 6 chapters, you don't see how it resolves in the end either. So I feel like it's kind of hard to have this whole discourse on the inner circle and Nesta and Cassie and all that if you haven't read the whole thing. Because clearly some things go bad for them to be okay in the end.
And like, yes, and all the books so far, they have made some rough decisions and they've done some things that are questionable, but they've been put in very shitty situations. And it's not just like once or twice they have to make a couple bad decisions and they make some bad choices. It's centuries of bad choices or centuries of like bad situations.
Yeah. Sorry, you keep going when you finish.
But it's like they're put in these positions where there's no good choice. And I think that makes them stronger characters where it's not like there's a clear-cut good and bad choice and they make the bad choice. It's like there's no good choice for anything that they've done so far, and I can see that continuing into like the new books. But it's like, to be anti-inner circle because they make shitty choices, well, like, look at the situations they've been put in. There's no good outcome no matter what. Like, everything that they do, there's no good option.
Yeah. So Maddie, I want you to discuss more about this with your little degree that you have going on. So tell me about entering the publishing industry, how you think that they think of NA, because as a reader, I've been kind of delving more into NA and I thoroughly enjoy it, but it's mostly self-published. So
well, new adult is a genre that's only seen in self-publishing, and it's I've had a lot of really difficult conversations with professors last semester about like trying to defend new adult and then being like, it's just not going to happen. And I can see why they're not looking for it to be happening, because like, what is like new adult? But one thing that I did say that makes more sense to me is the idea of splitting up, is changing what young adult is and actually introducing teen instead. So teen, it should go middle grade, teen, young adult, adult. So young adult should kind of span from like 16 to 25, because when you're 20, like when you're in your 20s, you are a young adult. You're still that. When you're 13, you ain't no young adult, you're a teenager. So teen should be its own genre. Like 13 to like being like even 12, like there's middle grade and teens can kind of like overlap heavily. Like young adult as a genre needs to change from being, because it is like, I'm in a children's marketing class at the moment, children's marketing. Okay. You're doing picture books, board books, like baby books and stuff like that, middle grade and YA. And I'm like, this doesn't make sense that YA is wrapped up in like such young stuff. Like we need to take it and be like, okay, let's reframe it and understand that like this is going to be something different. I do think the only way to do that is going to be through imprints. Like there are some authors like, Nicola and David Yoon are starting their own like imprint for diversity with Penguin. And that's going to be, I feel like it's going to take on like more of like an adult, young adult feel to it. And I think that the only way that we're going to get that is through, imprints being like, these are the kind of books that we're publishing. Yeah. We're calling it YA or adult and stuff like that. And that's just how we feel like that should be done. Because like, God, you're not going to go to a 13-year-old and be like, oh, look at this YA book called Serpent and Dove. You should read it. Like,
right.
Bro,
yeah.
No.
They're literally like married.
No, but then like there are certain like young adult books that I've read, and it's like I feel like we've said this, like I don't know if you guys do the same thing, but there are sometimes when I do my wrap-ups, I'm like, oh, this is like a young adult book, but like it's on the younger side of YA. It's like the fact that
like early young adult.
Yeah, like the fact that we still have to like where Katie can speak to that, but JLA is blueprint.
He is. And I think if the new adult industry gets more popular through like self-publishing, and especially with, I know Amazon kind of gets a lot of hate for like reducing the prices of books that are traditionally published, but it's a really great avenue for self-publishers. And people that like you can get your books either on Kindle Unlimited or in printed book that are self-published. And all of these self-published new adult books are kind of like what I'm turning to now to find these more fantasy romance type, because I read From Blood and Ash by JLA and loved it. And that's kind of like my intro into the genre. But I think if the self-publishing industry is getting so like a lot of momentum and all that, then the traditional publishing industry will maybe catch on to it and be like, oh, maybe we should hop on this train because people are actually making money from it. And if you're a self-published author making lots of money on it, publishing houses aren't getting a cut of your profits either. So
we are seeing more self-published authors like starting to get their books published by traditional companies. I mean, like we literally just talked about the other day, how Katie Robert is now being published through Source Books.
Yes,
B.
and
is a huge self-published author, and B. is being published through Forever by Grand Central. Is actually, they're definitely like they've taken a lot of indie romance authors and have turned them into like more adult books. A lot of them tend to mostly be on the historical side, but they do tend to have like more steamier content than other houses. Source Books Casablanca. Like the Source Books Casablanca and Forever are like the two main like traditional publishers that are doing steamy. Oh, you do have Berkeley with like
but it's more like contemporary NA though.
But it's still like it's a start at least with the contemporaries getting steamier nowadays, like in traditionally published books. FBA was my gateway.
Like there's so much hate for new adult from traditional publishers, from people who've been around for a long time. Cough, cough, old white men.
That was my professor. He was an old white man, and he was like,
I'm not surprised.
And I was like,
I'm not surprised. But it's like you see all of these newer people who have been in publishing for a few years, or like Madison, you're just like starting out in it, who are trying to push for it because they understand that a 13-year-old and a 20-year-old don't want to be reading the same things. And it's like the amount of times I've gone and picked up a book that was marketed as YA and it's 13-year-olds. And I'm like, you don't find this out until you're actually into the book. It's like, what the hell for? Like, it's not that they're bad books, but it's not what people are looking for. Like and they don't always have, some books have like 14 and up on the back or like 16 and up, but not everyone does. So it's like, there's no cut and dry way of showing that like this is for a younger teen, this is for an older teen. And it's like I've seen so many 13, 14, 15-year-olds that were going to pick up Aotar and Acofas, and I'm like, I don't like, if you're comfortable reading this, then go for it. But a lot of the times the kids and their parents are not comfortable with them reading that. And I would just like, in the before times when we could actually go into bookstores, I would like gently tell people like, you know, there's more adult content in this, depending on how old like they smash.
In the UK, in the UK, they have like a content warning on Aotar that says like this has like more mature themes.
Which
like it was like 16 up or something like that.
Yeah.
I've seen it on the internet, but it doesn't have it in the US.
It not in Canada either.
So back one thing I was going to say was it kind of reminds me of mangas, because a lot of mangas on the back you'll see like they always say like what the age range is for those, because shoujo mangas, it's like the whole like it's just girls manga, like, and you can range from 13-year-olds up to like 18 and plus, and the content in those does vary. And so all mangas on the back have a rating system on it, so it'll be either PG or MA or like adult, and it'll say like a rating, which is really great, and you don't see that in normal books. But I will say that I do have an indie published book here. It's one of my favorites. But on the back here it says a fun and sexy new adult romance, age 17 plus.
I love that.
Is that which one is that?
It's a sucker romance. It's a adult. It's one of my favorites.
See, like, I don't understand, because movies and TV shows have them. They all have the ratings. And it's like, it's a known thing and people don't complain about it. But it's like, why don't books have that?
Right.
And also the whole idea of young adult coming before new adult never made sense to me, because young adult seems like an older age group than new adult.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, you don't go from young to new, you go from new to young. Like you have a newborn, and then you have like a young baby, you have like a toddler, and then like you don't have a young baby and then a new baby.
I just think like, and this comment really like, I say like hits the nail on the head, is that when you're a teenager, like you go through so much growth and change throughout the years, and YA
even in
like
1 year,
stagnant. Yeah, it's like it's stagnant. It's like this huge, like just lump, and like really, it should be a little bit more stratified. I can't speak. Anyways, it should be just like a little bit more, you know, specific, so that you can find something that will resonate for you at that age. And if you want to read older, at least you go into it aware that you are reading something older. And you're not picking up this book being, this sounds like fun. And then all of a sudden you're traumatized because you're like, I was not expecting this.
And like, there's so many people that are like, I want something that's college aged because that's where I'm at. I'm not 18, but I'm not 40. And it's like, so many people are saying this, and so many people don't want to spend the time going through like shitty self-published books because there's so many that you need to go through a lot of the time before you can actually find a good one. And it's like, there are so many self-published books out there.
Yeah.
And it's like,
yeah, how do you?
I don't have the time to go through and read a bunch of shitty books.
I do have a video on my channel for college set romances. I think I put it out last year because I read a lot of them when I was in like at the end of high school, like when I was 16 to 18. I read a lot of college set ones because it was just the only way to get like sexy content without like reading full blown, like, because when you're like 16, 17, you don't want to be reading about like 30-year-olds having sex. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair. Because, yeah, for a lot of reasons. It's like, but yeah, it's like, they don't have, these traditional publishers are so against it. And like, it's great that imprints are coming out, but a lot of the times imprints don't stick around. Yeah. Especially when they're imprints by non-white people, or they try and then some editors go and then they just end up leaving, or they get dissolved, and then you're just in the lurch again trying to find a new imprint that would, publish these books. So like, it's a change that needs to happen, but it's like, realistically, is it a change that's going to happen anytime soon?
No.
It freaking sucks.
It sucks.
And
sorry,
go ahead.
you go. Okay. I was gonna say anyways, I'll go. All we can do as readers and like I cannot speak today. Book influencers is that like always promote the books that fit this market type that we want and like push to show people that it's popular. But I still feel like there's some sort of disconnect with traditional publishing doesn't realize like the power that book social media actually has on people. Like you get a book. Okay, let me put it in this term. You get a makeup product pop up on your TikTok page and everyone's talking about it on TikTok. I don't know about you, but I immediately go to Target and try it. And I will see it in the front display and sometimes it's sold out because it's so popular on TikTok. Everyone's seeing it, everyone's buying it. Like that is like the marketing place to be. If we get the same thing going with books and like you walk in and you said popular on TikTok, like in the front of Barnes and Noble, yeah, like that has so much power, and especially
at the young adult age,
like because these Gen Zers and older people like myself are on TikTok getting book recommendations from other TikTokers. Okay, continue, Zoe.
Or like even because like BookTube itself, not just TikTok, like BookTube has so much influence, but publishers don't want to, like, they don't want to talk about it. But you see, like, I've seen so many, like, I've overheard conversations of like people in the young adult section saying, "Oh, I saw this on BookTube," and I'm like, "You know about BookTube?" Like, and it's like that instant connection. So even I don't know if Indigo's doing that in Canada, but I don't know why they wouldn't. Just saying, like, popular on whatever social media site, like if it's working for other industries and if it's working in the States, why are you not going to do it in Canada? Why do you hate us? That's
someone recognized me in a Barnes and Noble and I was like, oh my gosh, is this real?
I love it.
Oh my God.
I'd be like, oh my God, thank you.
Yeah, like, if there's like a big sign, there's already displays of everything. And it's like, why not display it in a way that people are going to want to buy it?
Like, yeah, because social media has so much influence. Like being on BookTube, this is where I hear of books. And this is why I talk about books too. Because if I like it, I want other people to read it.
And book Twitter. Nobody
Oh my
understands
No
how
one gets
Twitter
Oh my
is.
God.
Oh my God.
And it's because it's so, the thing with Twitter is it can be so relatable because it's literally just like stream of conscious, sometimes garbage thoughts, but like, you know, like you just dump it all out there and then you're like, la la la. And the fact that Goodreads is disconnecting from Twitter is just like
I don't
the
understand.
stupidest thing, because I will see someone
Wait,
reading something.
what?
Yes, I will see somebody
Yeah.
reading something from their Goodreads posting to their Twitter, and I'll be like, oh, I should check out that book because like,
Yeah.
like, why are you getting rid of your best feature on a shitty site?
Well, it's the same thing when YouTube took it away. The like automatic tweet when you had a video come out. And it's like, why? I don't understand.
Yeah, the
It's
extra
some like corporate drama. Like,
It's stupid. I don't
Mhm.
care what's going on behind the scenes. We need it. Okay. It's fine. It's fine. I'm hormonal. Ignore me.
So, because Goodreads is owned by Amazon and Facebook owns Instagram, who owns Twitter?
Facebook has to sell Instagram, I'm pretty sure. Like eventually.
What?
Yeah, there was a Supreme Court ruled that it was a monopoly, so they would have to sell Instagram and WhatsApp. But
WhatsApp is considered a monopoly.
yeah, I've seen people theorize that Instagram is going to be the next social media platform to die
I
because
can see it.
of the way that Instagram is becoming less and less user friendly, and it's
They're
all about like
stupid.
shopping. It's like,
And now it's like the whole algorithm thing where saving a post and sharing it are like they give you more power than
Right, I heard about that.
commenting or liking.
Mhm.
And I was reading things where it's like any comment that's less than 4 characters. So like if you just comment an emoji, it doesn't count. And it's like you have to be on the app for an hour after you post for your post to start showing up more. It's like, who has the time to do
it's
that?
just like, I'm not like a social media professional. Like, I do this for fun. So like if the app is going to start actively working against me, then it makes it less fun. Then I don't want to use it.
And they're pushing for people to do reels because that's their newest feature. So the more reels you do, the more your posts will show up. But if you are importing them from TikTok, they won't show
They're not
them.
letting you do them anymore. There's a whole thing where they're saying that if you have the TikTok watermark, they'll start taking down your reels. I was going to
Like,
send it.
it's so stupid. That's so stupid.
It's like, so then you have to create the same thing twice. Like, why?
So I know there's like there's a whole way that you have to do it. I'll send
You have to like save it as a live photo and then save it as a
Mhm.
video. Mhm.
But then
That
the
doesn't-
music doesn't even save with it. It's just like, then what's the point? Like, as much as
They're
I like
making it so
Instagram,
difficult.
it's a lot of effort.
Like I haven't posted in so long, and I'm like the only reason my channel or my Instagram like grows at all is from my channel or my Twitter, because I'm like, I don't want to post if this is gonna be so shit.
Steph, you use Instagram a fair amount compared to the rest of us.
Well, I mean, to be honest, my Instagram and Twitter has been kind of non-existent, so. I mean, I feel like I just stopped using Twitter for a while, and then Instagram, I'm starting to get back to it, but I've just been so busy with work and everything, and I'm doing social media for work, so I'm already doing all the social media for work, but when I come home, I'm like, I don't want to do social media for fun too.
That's valid. That's
So.
totally valid.
Yeah, so I haven't really been on either.
Mm-hmm.
But with Bookstagram too, like there's such a pressure for everything to be like aesthetic and what you post and like your feeds and stuff.
I'm not good at taking pictures. That's why it's mostly selfies, because I'm okay at them. Like
I don't
a
think anyone would
flat
do
way.
that.
Like,
They're beautiful when people do them. I love looking at them, but I don't have the energy to get off my ass and do all that. And now I'm like, this damn belly's getting in the way. I can't bend down and like put things on the ground and then get myself back up. And then like the amount of time that it takes to take a bunch of pictures and like set everything up, take the pictures, put it all away. I'm gonna pee 5 times. I don't want to fucking do that. Like,
it's like,
no, thank
you know, like YouTube is my main platform, so obviously I put the most effort into that. But like the amount of effort, sometimes it just takes it like take like a nice book photo. I'm like, I just don't want to do it. So that's why I end up not posting on Instagram. And the only reason my Instagram has been growing lately is because I've been just importing my TikTok videos. So,
but if you can't do that
anymore.
You know what?
and if you
TikTok is up to 60 seconds and Reels are only 30 seconds. So if you have a good TikTok, but it's a minute, too bad.
Oh my God. That's the whole thing is just stupid. Instagram is like digging their own damn grave with the way that they're running things. And like I've seen so many people that are so mad about like the way they change the layout to
With the shopping
stuff, the shopping to go live.
Facebook. That's Facebook's influence.
100%. But like I remember seeing a tweet where someone was like, I don't know how to go live on Instagram anymore because they changed the one thing. And like they were posting screenshots. I forget who it was, but it was like, this is where it used to be, the button to go live, and it's not here anymore. I don't know how to do this. And it's like, I don't want to put this much effort into it. So why?
Maddie's like, how am I going live?
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna look on too.
It might
I
have
don't think I've ever gone
just
live on
Android.
Instagram. I get too scared.
Wait, how do you? Oh, wait, I thought maybe it was just gonna be like in the thingy here, but it's not actually. How do you go? How do you go live?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just annoying.
because I think it was like
I see. It's you got to scroll down the bottom. The choices. It's the very last bottom.
yeah, but some people had posted screenshots, and it was like, this is where it used to be. This is how I used to go live, and the button's not there anymore. They moved it, and it's in like such a hard to find spot. And I think it was like their phone had updated in a weird way. And it's like, why is Instagram doing so much to make people hate
They've made
them?
a lot of changes in the past month or two. Like a lot of changes.
And now with the whole the European laws.
Oh yeah, that was stupid too. I didn't even know what was going on. I was so
you
confused.
you can't reply to people's stories that are
Or
in
their
your
DMs, and they think that you're ignoring them because they can see that you've seen their message.
yeah. So like I actually have screenshots. Let me see if because I was
one customer at work got really mad because she was like, I can see you're seeing me, but how come you're not responding? And I'm like, I've literally tried to respond to you like 4 times now, and I thought my internet was bad.
like it literally
it wasn't
I
going
don't
through.
respond to people anymore.
It
Like-
wouldn't let me respond at all. Like, and then when I checked my phone, it just literally all my messages that I sent to that person, that customer, was not even like showing up. So I wasn't even notified that it wasn't going through.
Like I got a notification the one time because I was trying to respond to my friend Karis's. She sent me a video on like a video in a DM, and like a thing actually came up. You can't fucking see that.
It showed up on my phone, and that's how I figured out.
Yeah.
But like I was on the computer on Instagram, and there was no notification that it wasn't
Like
working.
it's so stupid. Like it says this can't be sent because of new rules for messaging services in Europe. And the only options are to unsend the message or report a problem. So like I tried like 5 times and I'm like, you're sending me videos of your dog and they won't let me reply. I don't understand. I feel personally attacked. But it's like, cause she's in the UK, I couldn't respond to a DM. And you can't, it won't show like how many shares a post has. Like the number is off because of the Europe privacy laws. And it's like, you guys, you haven't found a way to like manage your service so that it works for everybody. And it's been going on for months. It's like, guys, you suck. And I'm very upset.
Oh my god, what a mess!
I want to see Aussie, and they won't let me see Aussie.
Okay, we've been on for almost 2 hours, so
We went right off topic too.
we are very off topic. Does anyone have any closing thoughts before we end the stream?
I just want to mention that we will be doing the live for Acco Silver Flames.
Like the Echo Silver Flames. Gonna be on Maddie's channel.
Probably like a
aiming for
month.
mid-March. Yeah.
Yeah,
Give
we
everyone
want to give everyone at least a month because just no one's going to read it in the span that I probably will read it in. So.
I'm
gonna
gonna
be
read
waiting for
5
my
minutes before the live show.
It's okay. So I hadn't finished Acomap or Acco War before we had our live show. So
I had
Love that
60
for you.
pages left of Acofas when it was the Acofas live show. I tried so hard. It was so sad. I was so upset with myself.
Like,
I'm finishing Acofas like 2 weeks after the live show because I just didn't pick it up. Will there be any Silver Flames live reading streams? You know, we haven't done live reading streams, but we can try. If you want to try something on like Instagram.
I would try. We could do a TikTok live.
Oh, can we do those together?
The only problem is that I am a notoriously awful buddy reader. When Katie and I buddy read books, it is basically
we don't have to be
in the same general time vicinity.
we don't have to be like reading it at the same time, but we can just like be live and like just sit there and read. So if
reading friends.
Yeah, like reading friends. Like we don't have to be reading it at the same time. Like me and you reading the story out loud.
No,
There's copyright laws against that.
Yeah. So we could try. Like let's just try going live on one of our platforms. We'll plan it out kind of very as we go because I don't know when I'm getting my book. So we will. Well, we should try because I think that could be fun.
I will. There's an 80% chance that I get the book on Tuesday and that I finish it. I'm just saying.
Pick it back up and pretend to read.
I'll just dust jacket off and just chuck it on something else.
Yeah. So if we decide to do that, we'll post it on our Twitter, like probably a day in advance.
Yeah, on Aotar-A-Long on Twitter. If anyone's not aware.
Okay. So, anyways, this was fun. I enjoyed discussing everything with everyone. And if this is how long we can stay on talking about a novella, get a bucket of popcorn before the Silver Flames live show.
There's so many theories that like the novella is like this could happen.
Alluding to, yeah.
I know. I'm so
Or it could not
we're gonna have so much to say too. I feel like I'm gonna have to write notes while I actually read and be like.
I might write I think I'm just gonna do what I did for Acofas, where I made a couple of notes in my phone. I might just do that.
Yeah,
I would suggest writing longer notes this time so you remember what the hell you're thinking.
It was all of them except for the word. Everything made sense. All my notes except for cabin hunt. That was the only one that I was like, what?
Oh, did you mean about more in her estate?
No, it wasn't that.
Okay. Anyways, all right. Bye, everyone. Thanks for watching.
Bye. Thanks for waiting.
Bye. Okay.